after you are done with the disposable caps, then you have to put the seed inside. So as you can see, this is the variety that I use. I use Oxylos. So with this, all you have to do is just hit a small hole in the soil. So just hit a small hole. You don't have to go deep, just very small. So each cup will contain one seed. Each cup has to contain, I'll do it one seed. So you put your seed.
Thank you so much for coming back to our channel. We've learned how cabbage farming is so profitable and is bringing a lot of returns for farmers out there. Today we are going to go neck deep into how we can also start on cabbage farming wherever we are. We are going to learn the step-by-step procedure of starting a cabbage farm so that you can join in and take a bite of the cherry. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, this is an opportunity to subscribe. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and let us grow together. And we will bring you interesting content from all over the world. Today, what we are bringing you is going to change so much. So stick and stay with us. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to Agribusiness 233. And the last video that we did, a lot of people are interested in, knowing the practical steps in starting a cabbage farm. Today we are going to take us through the step-by-step procedure. How can our viewers start their own cabbage farm wherever they are? So now tell us, how do you start a cabbage farm from scratch?
Okay. If someone wants to go into cabbage farming, the first thing you have to consider is the site selection. Yeah, and the site selection has to do with the land that you want to farm on. Yeah, so if you are to consider the land, then it also comes into the type of soil. So you can't just go in for any land because you want to do cabbage farming. No, you have a special type of soil that cabbage as a crop thrives well in. Yeah, so the most appropriate soil for cabbage farming is the loamy soil, yeah, or sandy loam. Yeah, thank you. And so let me say, after getting your site or finding your site selection, soil preparation will also come in. Yeah, so the soil preparation deals with tilling the soil. And one thing is, you don't just till the soil, but we have a depth that one needs to reach to help the roots of the cabbage. So considering the depth of tilling the soil, we take 10 to 8 inch, 10 to 8 inch depth. Yeah, so if you want to till the soil, then you need to till the soil to reach a maximum of 10 to 8 inch, which will help the roots of the cabbage. Yeah, so that's the second step. And the next step will be the variety. We have so many cabbage varieties. We have F1, we have the Oxylos. By here in Ghana, most of the farmers uses the Oxylos. As you can see, I'm using the Oxylos variety because of our climate here. So you need the variety depending on where you are, depending on your location. So you have to search whether your location will need the Oxylos or the F1 or other cabbage varieties. You have so many cabbage varieties. After finding your variety, then you go into the seed preparation. where I will talk much on that. So the seed preparation or the seedling preparation, I think in my last video I spoke something small about it. By the seed preparation, when you talk about the seed preparation, that's where you are going to produce your seedlings for transplanting. So if your cabbage will do well, then it will depend on the type of preparation you make during your seedling preparation. As you can see, the method I used was the disposable caps. But traditionally or generally, most farmers will net the seed on a seed bed and they will transplant. But one thing I realized was transplanting, most of the times, if you are not careful, you will get transplanting shock. And even if in the harmattan season, it is easy for your seedlings to die. Yeah, but if you use the seedling, the disposable cap, sorry, then I think it is going to help your seedling to stand well, even during the harmattan season or the dry season. Because this cabbage is just a 1 month old. Yeah, it's just a month old, and I transplanted it during the dry season. Yes, during the dry season. But as it can see, it still stands strong and healthy. And one thing about the seedling preparation too is about using the disposable caps. You can transplant your seedling at any time of the day. During even the afternoon, any time of the day you can transplant. By when you do your seedlings on just a nursery bed, then it requires I think a special day or a special time for transplanting. But when you do your seedlings in the disposable caps, you can just transplant it any time of the day without your seedling getting transplanted shock. Okay. So after your seedling preparation, you are going to transplant your seedlings on the land or on the soil. So after transplanting, then irrigation is one factor that also helps for development of the crop. Sorry. So here you have to irrigate your crops. Irrigation helps to increase the soil moisture content. So when the cabbage is being deprived from water, then actually your seedling or your cabbage as a plant is going to die off. Yeah, so irrigation is also one factor which improves the quality of cabbage production. After irrigation, then fertilization also comes in. One thing is, when after transplanting, there's this fertilizer NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So after the transplanting, then you need to give your cabbage the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is in the short form of what? NPK. That's going to help for the establishment of the plant or the crop as cabbage. So after fertilization, and I think when half month or 1.5 months of establishing your cabbage, then you can also give your cabbage crop nitrogen, which also helps in what development of the head, which is the vegetables you are going to harvest. So after fertilization, then also um, weed controls also comes in. Weeds is one of the factors that affect cabbage production, because most of the times weeds, we all know that weeds do compete with the crop for nutrients. So if you leave your cabbage farms to compete with weeds, then I think you are not going to get the actual harvest or the harvesting yield you want. And also we also know that most of the weeds attract pests which will destroy the crop. So doing with the weed or clearing the weeds from the cabbage will help the cabbage to thrive well. And also the last factor that I will talk about is the pest and disease control, which is one of the major factors that affect cabbage production. So the pest and disease control, we have so many factors or so many methods that people use to control pest and diseases in their let me say crop farming in general. But the most appropriate methods that one needs to use is the I think the integrated pest management, which deals with the cultural, biological, and the chemical methods. So when you take the cultural method, that's for that you can use maybe hand picking. Also, the hand picking deals with identifying the pest in the crop, and you can even just put them out and kill them to avoid them increasing in the farm. And also the biological control, for the biological method you can use other living organisms to control the pest in your farm. And the chemical method also deals with using the other chemical like the lambda, the sampiriphos, in controlling the weeds, or sorry, controlling the pest or the disease in the farm. But you see, here it stands where if you want your cabbage not to harm or not to affect the health status of you or consumers in a whole, then I think you need to go in for the organic uh, method, which deals with the use of what organic pesticide to control pests and diseases. So the last time I was talking about the use of organic pesticide, where I mostly use the neem tree, yeah, the solution of the neem tree to spray, just to avoid poisonous or poisoning the fruits or the vegetables that I will harvest. So I think these are the major steps if one needs to go into cabbage farming. These are the general steps um, one needs to follow in appropriate to establish a successful cabbage farming.